Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're doing another unboxing. We're following on from the last one I did. This time it's not Fury, this time we're hitting the beach. Okay, this is Hit the Beach. It's complete World War II starter set for Flames of War. Let's crack it open, shall we? So I'll just trim off, or slit open the side there, and then open up on the cellophane, rip it all off. Yes, and once we've got rid of all that, even the bits that are somehow stuck to the box, there we go. Right, let's have a look what we get. So before I carry on, I'll just change my glasses and I can see what I'm doing. So we have two complete forces. We have a company HQ with two Sherman 75mm tanks, a tank platoon of three Sherman 76mm tanks, and a tank platoon of three Sherman 75mm tanks with the support platoon of the parachute rifles platoon of 32 figures. We have, for the Germans, the company HQ is the Panzer Grenadier HQ, which is 6 figures, the combat platoon, which is two Panzer General Grenadier platoons of 58 figures, an anti-tank platoon of two 7.5cm AT guns, and a tank platoon of three Panzer IV tanks. The box also includes the complete A5 reel book, a quick start guide, a V1 flying bomb terrain feature, 16 unit cards and 20 dice. So everything you see in here, apart from the terrain pieces, except that for that piece of terrain piece there, is what you get in the box. So let us turn it over and open up. There we are. Right, here we go. So we start off with some bases, and these have the holes built in, so you can just slot your choppies inside it, which is quite nice. And something else I've seen here which I quite like as well. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the camera stand for this one above me, and we can have a look at the contents a bit more closely. So here we are again with these bases, and what I've noticed, if we take them out, there's a little sprue, a few little sprues like that, and these will cap off any of these holes that aren't being used. Brilliant. Now I'm assuming they're for the AT guns. Does it say on the back what it's for? No, it's just a copyright claim of part number. So yes, I'm assuming that's what them two are for. The AT guns. Might be wrong. But yeah, we've got loads of bases. And obviously the what do we call it? The oh dear lord, and the base plugs. So we'll just pop them away. Don't usually start off looking at the plastic pieces, but they were the first out of the bag, so I thought why not? Not first out of the box, should I say. Next, let's have a look what we have. We have the dice, exactly the same dice as you get in the Fury box sets, and green sets and grey sets, allies, maxis, simple as. Again, I went into more detail on the Fury box sets, so if you've not seen that one, I suggest you go and watch that, have a look at what I thought of that one. Next, Right, all the stuff that I really want to look at first is at the bottom of the box, which is about normal. We have just a shed load of stuff in here that don't know where to start. Right, let's start with this. This is the plans for all the minis, how to make them up. So you've got the ones for the 7.5cm gun assembly. And then your Panzer Grenadier Company HQ, your Panzer Grenadier platoon, and it's good because it gives you the figure key here. Let me with help. It gives you the figure key so you can actually see what all these mean. So if you're like me, who's not coming at this in any historical way, shape or form, and you're just coming in at it as a game, it's quite handy because I'm no expert at any of this. And then we've got the Panzer IV assembly there. Unfortunately don't get any more strugs, but never mind. Next we have, on the other side we have the American one, so you get the parachute rifle company, parachute rifle platoon that we have there. You also at the bottom, for some reason on the American side, have the instructions for the V1, and you also get the assembly instructions for the Shermans. Bear with me, I'm just going to lower the camera a little bit and zoom out a little bit more. That might be more stable. Next we have the sheet of core rules. You had one of these in Fury. I don't know if there's any difference. I think they are, because in this you've got in the one for the Fury you just have tanks. With this one you get the people as well. So you get a mixture of tanks and infantry with this. So yeah, and again it's just a fold out sheet so you can see what everything is. I'm not going into any great detail looking at these. I'm just giving you a quick look at what we have. All nicely illustrated. And then we have these, which are Flames of War rule book, and you know the index there. Got some Russian light fighting, minefields, and then you've got more missions. Yes, you've got a lot more missions. I'm not saying you don't have a lot more missions. You get the same amount of missions that's in the book that was with Fury, because it's exactly the same book. There's no difference in this book at all. And we've already had a quick look through the one for Fury. And then we have the cards. These are going to be very similar to the ones that were in Fury, so I'll just give them a bit of a to break the stickiness. Oh, these are new. These are new. There we are. And these are the formations that we used. Let me just zoom in a little close to these. So this is all set in late war. It's around D-Day. And it says your force must contain at least one formation. So these, I think, are the different formations. Stug Assault Gun Company there. And then here we have the movement orders and support units and stuff like that. And again, this is for the German faction, and this one here is for the Americans. So these are on your formations again. And once more you have the movement orders and the support units. What this wildcard is, I'm not sure. I don't know. But hopefully we'll find out at some point. Right. Next we have again the all the cards for this. Let's start from this side and have a look at each one in turn. So you've got your tank hunter platoon. So that's what's on the card, and that's the back of it. Panzer IV tank platoon, and these have got the panels on that the Stug had in Fury. Got those side panels there. Panzer IV tank platoon there. Next we have the Panzer Grenadier platoon. One sort of like keeling over by the look of it. He's only just been shot, but he still hasn't noticed yet, and he's just falling face first. And there's the pack. And again, another Panzer Grenadier platoon. I don't think there is any difference with these at all. No, it's just that we have two of these platoons. I think that's why you get two of the cards. And then we have movement orders and a nice picture of a tiger on the back. Next we have the Americans, so we're starting off with the M4 Sherman. And another M4 Sherman. That is a normal one, and this is the Tank Company HQ. So this has the 70, oh, the bottom of the 75mm gun. This is the Sherman with the 76mm gun. Now, why the HQ have the 75mm gun and this one has the 76mm gun and not the HQ, I don't know, but oh well. There we are. And the M4 Sherman Veteran Tank Company. So we have some differences in the Shermans. Again, I'm not 100% on what all these actually mean as yet. I know some of the basics, like if you're firing, you get 2 shots with that gun if you haven't moved, but if you've moved, you still get, in fact, you still get 2 shots from. Well, that one drops down from 3 shots if you hold it, but if you've moved, you get 2 shots. Wow, that's good. There we go. And next you have your movement orders. You've got the same picture that was on the back of the tank, it was on the movement order card in the Fury. And then you have the Panzer Grenadier Company HQ. and you have the parachute rifle platoon. There we are. So that's all the cards and all the paperwork looked at. Now it's time to look at some plastic. Oh yes, what we're waiting for. There we go, save the best till last, as always. That's how I like to do it. Oops, I'll put those over there. You can go over there as well. So let's start off with, there we are. This is a V1 terrain piece, and they are the tracks, or the launch track for it. There we go. And then we have the two tank buster guns. They have their own sprays for these. Look forward to getting these built up. Okay, and then we'll go over to this one. This is one of the Tigers. And as you can see with this, you've got two different types of skirts on this. You've got one that's been bashed about, also it's been in the wars, and then you've got a nice clean one that's just come out of the factory. I think they're putting those on because, well, you would, wouldn't you? You want to make it look as though your tank's done something. So I've got the main body of the tank. It's a different way of how the tanks were put together in Fury, because those side pieces, or the top bits and the bottom part, was separate. With this one it's just that piece that's separate from the whole of the main body. And even your turret's different on this one. So it's nice that they're actually making tanks look different and they're all the same. And here we have another of the Panzers. Exactly the same model. Oh, and you can have it with these or that without. So if you don't want to put these on the side, you can just put them on instead, and that's the rack that hangs these skirts on, which is nice. And they're all the same. What's the word I'm looking for? It's all three of these are the same. So we just have to just make sure there's nothing missing, no damaged parts. They all look quite right. So yeah, nothing to complain about so far. And then we start on the Shermans, and there are lots of Shermans in here. Okay, so start off with this one, and it says on the side of this one it's Sherman M4A1. So this is the one with the 76mm gun. So these basically are the upgrades. So you've got 1, 2. So out of all the Shermans, you can upgrade 3 of them to be the 76mm gun version. So that's why there's no, it's a smaller sprue, it's just an upgrade pack. Alright, so there's that one. This is the second one. Again, nothing remotely damaged on these. Quite happy so far. There we go. Okay, and now these are the normal Shermans. There's quite a few of these to look at. So I'm just going to do one or two. I'm not going to go through them all, I don't think. So here you've got your this is how it went together in Fury. So you've got the top hull and the bottom hull, then you have the tracks and the wheels on the side, and then you've got your turret. I remembered what it was called today, and that part is a cupola. And that's your main, that's your just your M4 Sherman. Right, so when I get around to painting these, I'm not going to be painting them to any historical accuracy. I'll try and use similar colours, but they won't be the right colours, because as I say, I'm not going into this as some form of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not coming into this as some form of historical project. I'm going into this with the full view of it being a game that I hope to enjoy, and some nice models as well, if nothing else. I have watched a few videos of Beasts of War, or Tabletop as it's called now, of the Flames of War for the Win, and really enjoyed those. So there's still a few more to go. I think I've only done 4 videos so far from when they started it off. What, 7 years ago was it, for Flames of War? But yeah, in fact, I said I wasn't going to do all of them, but I'm just having a quick skim through to see if there's anything wrong with them, the things, and I've got them on camera if there is. But no, everything seems to be perfectly fine as I can see it, just as a cursory inspection. So there are the tanks, and here we have a little bag, whoops, with the heads of the tank command crew. These look to be American. Judging by the helmets. I've only got these, I don't have any ones for German yet, so unless they may be on the main sprues, I don't know. But they look to be American to me. There we go. And now the main sprues for the infantry, when I can actually separate the 2 pieces of plastic here. So we have not, and there's not I don't think it's one for German and one for American. I think that look as though they're both mixed in together, judging by the helmets. So I'll have to watch out and be careful with what I'm putting down here. So I think that half is German, that half is American. And I don't see any German heads on them. Oh yes, there's a couple of heads there, they may be the Germans. No, they still look American heads. I'll have to have a look. Oh, it's on the other sprue. Oops, I'm knocking everything over. Again, the sprue is different as well. You have a couple more head and shoulders ones here, and chop with the bazooka. I'll try to work out what that was there. Well, that's the mortar. There's a couple that look as though they're bent a little bit, the other ones are bent. Nothing that some hot water won't cure. Yes, this is going to be fun to paint. I'll probably paint one on camera and do the rest off camera because it's going to be fiddly for everybody to see what I'm doing. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned because I will be bringing up some painting videos fairly soon for some of the tanks. I've got the Shermans and the Panzers and the all the ones from the Fury. They're all made up, so ready to attach with these, and these will be made up fairly soon, and then we can start painting them. And as I say, I'm not going with proper historical accuracy with any of this whatsoever. It's just going to be colours that I think are near enough or appropriate to the set that I've got, which is Hit the Beach. So we're looking at sandy colours, as you can see on the pictures. You can see on the pictures the tanks are sandy coloured. So, and the Germans have this nice camouflage patterns on it. So there we are. That's that is all I can say. So if you're looking at this as sort of like a history lesson on World War II, yeah, I wouldn't bother. There are plenty of other places where you can go for that. So this is a game and nothing but a game. So when we start off doing this, don't, you know, there's no point in messaging me saying that's not the right colour, that's not the right colour, should be this, should be that. It's a game. I'm going with it from that perspective. Anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, as always, stay safe and take care. God bless, and bye for now.